guys hear me talking now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I don't know if you can hear me or not. So nobody can hear me right now? Is it coming in clear now? Oh, we're going to lose the cool music. What's up, guys? The camera moved. Now it's down here, and now you can look into my microphone. So, how are all you zombs doing tonight? I don't know what the deal is with this streaming stuff. I tested it yesterday. It worked fine. People were watching. And now, I don't know. How in one day it can stop working is beyond me. Anyways, so something happened today. What do you guys think of? I'll just get started right away. What do you guys think of this Datamine leak stuff? Do you think that it's, first of all, do you think that it's true and Capcom left it in there by accident, which is very possible because if you guys were following it, the demo came out on Friday for PC, and on Friday, Resident Evil sent out a link and said, download the demo, it's on right now. And then it wasn't, and it didn't work. So they were trying to fix it for hours, and they finally got it working. But perhaps they panicked, and they had to upload a previous version without the stuff. Yeah, Goldheart says she thinks Capcom is lying to us. That's definitely a possibility. There were a lot of different things in there, but Capcom people are pretty smart, you would think. Yeah, it was either an accident or it could be false information on purpose. I did a quick video on it. I didn't really reveal anything. I just kind of talked about here are some of the topics that it covered. But yeah, so to me it doesn't make any sense at all how it's the demo of a game. Why does the demo of the game have all the information about everything in the game? So, and then just so you know, I'm not going to talk about any specific spoilers. I might talk about like a generic topic that it covers, but I won't get into details or anything. Pete says why, or Pierre says why would they lie to us at such a big scale? That's the point that makes me really think that it was an accident in there, or they did it on purpose to get some more buzz going. but that it's real information just because there's so much information in there. And yeah, if you go on Twitter, WheresBarry, I put up all the poll questions for today's little show. There are 3 questions each week. And the first question was about the spoiler thing. Even if you didn't read it, which I would recommend you do not read the story part of it. It goes into some detail there. But I ask, how do these Datamine spoilers make you feel? A bunch of people voted already, and it was pretty even. 38% raging like a hunter, so that was kind of like you're mad. 8% whining like Steve. That was me. I went through all these phases today. I started out whining like Steve, then I was raging like a hunter. The third one was happy, like nobody in Resident Evil, because no character in Resident Evil has ever been happy. That's at 31%. And the people who don't care, that's at 23%. And I put don't care like Billy, because Billy doesn't care. But give me your answers in here. How do you guys feel? Blue Sheep's excited. And for those of you who didn't read it, I would recommend staying away from it. The problem is there's going to be thumbnails popping up, especially if you like my videos. And the thumbnails are all about spoilers. So, I mean, a lot of that stuff is going to get out there. But also, after thinking about it for a little while, I kind of felt like, okay, they gave us this information, but it's not that bad. It's not every storyline. It's kind of an outline. There's going to be a lot of things in there that we're going to see. And Seek in here, it makes a good point with that. There's going to be some great twists involved in the game, and I believe that as well. And yes, because I have this channel, I can no longer enjoy Resident Evil the way that you guys can all enjoy Resident Evil, because I started this channel. Now I get all this information. I get so many fake spoilers sent to me directly. It drives me crazy. People saying, oh, I've talked to this employee, I talked to that employee, and they just send me all this information. So I've seen so many fake leaked items, and then there's also all the ones that are on Reddit and stuff like that. The past one on Reddit, it looked like, honestly, that they watched the last week's episode of Theory Chat and then went point by point through what we talked about on that show and then made the spoiler about that, because we talked about that monster, and then all of a sudden, oh, I have a spoiler about a monster. We talked about the different things about the virus. Oh, all of a sudden, now I have a virus. The timing of it was very weird, and it looked exactly like the show. So if it was one of you zombs, it was a good attempt at spoiling. And Goldheart, as the moderator, if people are being weird or something, just write down who it is, or put them in timeout. Don't block them unless you write down who they are, just so we can possibly unblock them if we have to. But yeah, so what did you guys... So the first story that came out of this whole thing was about a returning character, and it turned out that people were wrong about that. But actually, some of the mainstream media posted about it as well. So there's a lot of stuff in there. And I really don't want to get too specific about it right here. I mean, this is a very serious channel, as you can see by my Jingle Bell hat and the quality of the audio, where I have to stream and unstream 10 times before each episode starts. But I think it won't cut out this time, I hope. Oh, so the other thing that I typically do, and today was just crazy. So typically I would try to go into the file myself and figure out all this stuff. But I did not actually do that. So I did not go into the file on my own. I'm taking the word of people on the internet, and they are not very trustworthy all the time. However, there were several people who seemed to corroborate the story. But so, yeah, I think that's some good talk about that. Again, just to recap, there were a bunch of spoilers released. Some of it is just kind of in-game commands and stuff like that, which I think is more interesting than spoiling. And then there's just a big chunk of story spoilers that you probably want to avoid, and it's going to be hard to avoid those. The other thing that came out this week was an article from PlayStation Magazine, and PlayStation Magazine played the game. And the interesting thing about that article was the guy who wrote the article, he loved the game. He said he thinks he's going to give it a 10 out of 10. It's a great game. It returns you to survival horror. He just said all these awesome things, and the things that he talked about, it makes you really want to play the game. It makes you really think that it's Resident Evil again, and it's all the people who said, "Oh, this is PT or Outlast," they're going to be just laughing like it's ridiculous. This is so Resident Evil, and that article just like nails it home. And that is a print article, so I can't link it, but you can find it if you search the internet, wink, and read it for yourself. But that is a great article. And so the one thing that the guy didn't like about the game was that there were checkpoints all over the place. So what do you guys think about Resident Evil games with checkpoints? Now, you guys can help me here and correct me, but Resident Evil 4, was that the first one that used checkpoints? And there were a lot of checkpoints in Resident Evil 4 because I just played that, and there were some parts where I was like, I don't feel like killing any enemies, and I would run to the next checkpoint. And when I got to that checkpoint, maybe I'd shoot Ashley for fun because I knew it auto-saved at the not auto-saved, but it auto-checkpointed. And then I'm guessing Resident Evil 5 had them too, but Resident Evil 6 was another game where you could avoid hard parts of the game because they let you die 1,000 times and they let you just get the checkpoints. So in Resident Evil 6, there's a level where you run up the snow, and you could literally run up, try to get to the top. If you die, just try again, never shoot anyone. And in a few minutes, you can be at the top and you hit a checkpoint. Okay, now I'll go to the next checkpoint. And you can kind of cheat through the game that way. So I'm hoping the checkpoints don't work like that. But again, the guy who did the article on PlayStation Magazine was like, he was really hitting home the fact that there were a lot of checkpoints and that he did not like it. I know earlier, one of the producers mentioned that possibly on Madhouse mode they would not have any of the checkpoints, and the Madhouse mode difficulty might be interestingly different with maybe non-connected item boxes. I mean, what do you guys think Madhouse mode might contain? Let me know in the comments, and I will read some of your answers. Thanks, everybody, for joining. We kind of started a little slow because the audio wasn't working again, as usual. And then I didn't even get to do my cool intro where I'm like, welcome, everybody, to Chat Theory. It's the greatest show. I'm making this up right now. And there's so many cool things happening in this episode. We're going to talk about Resident Evil. And we're even going to talk about Resident Evil. So thanks for joining. And if you like it, click on that thumbs up. And the more thumbs ups we get, the more episodes we're going to do. And as you can tell, this is all about having fun. We want to get down to the good information. We don't want to do too many spoilers. And we want to have fun. And it's holiday season, so happy holidays to everybody. And thanks for joining the show. Twitter Entertainment says he thinks Madhouse will be like raid mode in Resident Evil. What was that in? Revelations 2? Gaming Sloth says Madhouse could be less healing items, ammo, no checkpoints. Fighting is not a choice. Taking more damage. Shin says the checkpoints might be a good thing because it's going to be really hard. And let me get you the exact quote from the producer. Jun. Apparently, he did Resident Evil 5, and people are like, don't like him because he did Resident Evil 5. But I don't know anything about him. But I do know he said, here's the quote from the producer: "We want to make a game where people don't see dying as such a negative thing." That's the quote from Jun in the PlayStation magazine. So you're apparently going to die a lot, I guess. And how do you guys feel about dying in the game? I think that was one of the Twitter poll questions at WheresBarry. Go over there, and that's where all the questions are. People are still voting. The votes are going up and up. Yes, question 3 was, I asked people how often they're going to die in Resident Evil 7. 13% said 0 to 1 times. I don't know who those 13% are, and I don't know how they're going to get past Jack Baker. Now, maybe the second time through, once you figure it out, but I don't know. That would be awesome if on your first run through you died 0 to 1 times. 38% of the people said 2 to 10 times. That seems to be, I mean, that's low for me. I'm a 20-plus person. And then 29% said 10 to 20 times. And 24% said all the times, and I am in that category there. And if you've watched any of the streams, which I do those on weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just like this show, I die a lot. And, yeah, that's part of my strategy is actually to die. So I don't know if any of you guys have that strategy as well. But in a game like Resident Evil 4, which I hadn't played in several years, I wanted to go into the part. I wanted to use all my ammo to kill all the guys, find out what's going on, and then die to start back at the checkpoint. So now I know what's coming up, and I can save some ammo. That's sort of cheating, I guess. That's what I do with saving games in Resident Evil as well. I usually do a double tier save system. I don't know if any of you guys do this as well. Basically, I'll play an hour, or I don't know. I'll play 30 minutes of Resident Evil. No, I'll play an hour, and let's say I save 4 times in that hour of Resident Evil. Well, instead of continuing after that 4th save, I'll start a new game, and then I'll get to that 4th save, saving it once now that I know what to do. And I kind of go in games like that where I'll play through it and I'll be like, there's not enough ammo. I have to go back to the beginning and kind of start again. Fistard says, in a game where you can easily get infected like the demo, I think checkpoints are a good thing. Yeah, so that creature in the demo, I mean, I would run by it like you can't even imagine yourself squeezing through because the screen is so wide and it's in first person. So it's like you don't really know where you are. But I would run to the side of him and he'd be way over there. And he would still sometimes like nick me with his long arm because he's got those long arms. And if they infect you, so where you get hit and you're poisoned or whatever, that would be really annoying. And yeah, checkpoints, they're going to be very helpful, but I don't know. They're going to help us get through the game. But I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It's going to help me a lot, especially with people watching me play. What's up? What's up, everybody? A lot of familiar names here. And good to see you, Pierre Fistard, who's interacts a lot on Twitter. So, what's next on this list here? Oh, yes. So, in the PlayStation magazine, they also talked about what I call everything crafting, which is where you can craft different things. Everyone was talking about ammo crafting before. I don't know if we talked about this last week or not. Right at the end of the show, it kind of got cut off. But chem fluids are going to be one of the key items in the game. And there's a red kind and a yellow kind. The red kind is strong. The yellow kind is regular. and then you're going to combine these chem fluids with gunpowder to make ammo or grenade rounds or something, with herbs to make stronger medicine. So it looks like there's probably not red herbs or blue herbs. And then it also talked about the PlayStation Magazine article, and what was the other article? There was another article as well, Biohazard France article, and one of those talked about pouring the chem fluids on paper to develop photos. So I don't know if that's the same chem fluids that we're talking about here, but it sounds like and then you can repair the broken shotgun with the chem fluids. So weapon repair might be in the game as well, although it might just be repairing that one broken weapon. We don't know if your weapons can break or not. That'll be an interesting thing to find out as well. John P. says he's feeling the Ethan W. theory. Yeah, I never did a video on that, but John Ford, who's another Resident Evil YouTuber, did, and I was going to have him call into the show, but that is not going to work tonight because the audio screwed up again. So I can't take a Skype call right now anymore. So we'll try to do that next week and talk more about Ethan and if he's connected to Umbrella and what his deal is. And again, if you're just joining, this is the Christmas special. So I've got my elf hat on. Woohoo. So we still don't know who Mia and Ethan are and why they're here and what their whole deal is. We don't know if they worked for Umbrella. So one of the things that I've never done a video on, which is weird, I think, is Umbrella. I've never talked about Umbrella, really. I've talked about different characters and stuff, but I've never talked about specifically Umbrella and looking at the connection to Umbrella because it's just so obvious. Umbrella's the bad guy. It's like, I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but Umbrella's the bad guy in every single one, basically. I guess there was different ones in 6 and 5 or whatever, but it was all basically Umbrella. They just changed the name to some other company, but there's always like a big company Umbrella. John says if Ethan's part of Umbrella, why is he so surprised that some weird stuff is going on in the house? He actually sounds... I think he's only said 1 or 2 lines that we've heard in a commercial or gameplay. The PlayStation article mentions he says he sees some sweaty socks and he's like, ew, sweaty socks, or something weird like that. So... that was one of the things I was going to talk about are the one-liners in the game. Everybody seems to love Jax, all the stupid things Jax says. I didn't write them down here, but you guys, a bunch of you guys probably know the one-liners that Jax said in those gameplay videos, and he's got that southern accent, and he's just very weird. But it sounds like Ethan's going to maybe be saying some one-liners like, ouch, that hurt, and stuff like that. Or, what is that? What is it? What is it? I don't know who you're talking about, Goldheart. But you're allowed to put anyone you want in timeout. And that will pause them for 5 minutes. And then they will know that. And I guess a good question right now would be, are there any specific one-liners? Everybody loves Jill Sandwich, but are there any specific dialogue that you can remember from past games that you... Yes, that's the one. Blue Sheep just said it, the one that everybody say, look what you done, mother bleep. That's one of the Jack Baker lines. Yeah, and so Twitter Entertainment sent me a photo. A bunch of people are sending me photos of real life Jack Bakers, and I actually saw one as well I saw Jack Baker eating at a Thai restaurant. He was sitting at the bar, and I went to go take a picture. And the best part about the Twitter Entertainment picture was the guy that looked like Jack Baker that he was taking the secret picture of was staring at him right in the camera. He knew he was being photographed. I was like, oh my God, it's so awkward. I tried to get my guy, but he kind of looked at me too, so I put my camera down. But yeah, I'll be accepting all pictures of Jack Bakers that you see in real life. Yeah, Pierre has a good line from, I believe that's from Revelations. Is that right? You almost became a Moira sandwich. Or no, Claire sandwich. What was the... I can't remember. Didn't he say Claire sandwich? Or Claire said she almost became a Claire sandwich in Revelations 2? Oh, yeah, the other... So we've got Umbrella, and then on the other hand, we've got the BSAA. And are the BSAA going to be in the game too? So that's another one. Is Ethan part of Umbrella? Is he part of BSAA? Would he join BSAA? Would he join Umbrella? Who knows? Sounds like he's a good guy. And it sounds like Mia's a bad guy. Sort of. Maybe she's just infected, and that's why she's becoming a bad guy. Yeah. And of course, Barry. Where's Barry? That is that is my favorite one-liner of all time. Goldheart says her dad looks like Jack Baker. Oh, Claire said that to Moira. Okay. Yeah, one of the things I want to do a quick video on is get all the Jack Baker one-liners that are from that. I think there's only, 4 or 5, maybe even less. And put all them together. I did that for Marguerite earlier, where Marguerite's got a filthy mouth and she screams all these curses at you, and she's disgusting. And she's this was from the Lantern gameplay, and a lot of the media wrote down the things that she said, so we only have clear her saying 1, 2, or 3 things. I think 3 things, and then I had to read the quotes in a Marguerite voice. Which was kind of not what I wanted to do, but the only way to kind of get that out there. But Jack Baker now has all these lines that are said without music behind it and stuff, so. Philip says one he loves from Resident Evil 6 from Ada. Sorry, boys, no time. My dance card's already full. And, of course, the Jill sandwich, yeah. Jill sandwich is like, it's just so, anybody new to the channel will just mention Jill sandwich in comments. It's just all over the place. So definitely an awesome line that they took out of Resident Evil Remake because they thought it was cheesy, but they really should have kept it in. And so Resident Evil 2 Remake better have some of the same dialogue. That's some of my favorite parts here are favorite parts of the early Resident Evil games are the dialogue. And here's some good news if you're interested in the actual gaming streams. We do that weeknights at 8 p.m. It's not every night, but most nights, and you can ask me on Twitter if I'm doing it or not, and I usually respond to that. Is now I can do PS3 games, and I have Resident Evil Director's Cut. I'm going to do that, then 2, then 3. And those have some of the best dialogue ever. My favorite 2 lines are, of course, the intro to Resident Evil that when I was a little kid, had me hooked on the game right there, and that is the name of the channel. And when they walk in and they say, Barry, where's Barry? And Wesker says, I'm sorry, but he's probably... And then Jill says, no. And if you watch my videos, I use that clip of Jill saying no all the time. I love when the way she says it. She's just like, no. And then the other one was, I just forgot what the other one was. Oh, it's Resident Evil 2 at the shop where he goes, who are you? What are you doing here? And both of those stick out because they're early in the game lines. And because I die so much, I'm always starting over from the beginning. So the lines early in the game are the ones I memorize. So hopefully in Resident Evil 7 I get a little farther and don't have to memorize the opening lines over and over again. And Blueberry Muffin asking about canon. I don't know anything about I don't really know that. I'd have to look it up. I know there's a lot of conflicting information about what's part of the story and what's not. I wish it was just, I think it should just be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, Code Veronica, 5, 6, 7, whatever. But I think Revelations might count and some other side games. The producer of Resident Evil Umbrella Corps, I think it was Kawada, said that that was part of canon. So there's just so many quotes out there. There's also a guide that was written in Japan a long time ago that counts as part of canon. And like I can't get access to that book, but there's a website that translated it, but it didn't do a great job of translating. Oh, and I guess one of the questions I would ask you guys is, so Resident Evil 1 had a bunch of endings. How do you guys want this game to have multiple endings? Or would you rather it just be a single ending? How many endings are too many endings? Do you think there should be a good and a bad? Or do you think there's like a good, I rescue this, bad, I didn't rescue that? Like how many endings do you guys want in this game? Give me a number. I would say I'm pretty classic. I'd like 2 endings if there are more. If there's more than one, I would like only 2. But a lot of people want multiple endings. Definitely here in the comments. Blueberry, P-Spot, Gaming Sloth, Swifty says 3 endings. What's up, Swifty? Swifty's an awesome commenter. A lot of you guys are awesome commenters on the videos, and I always go in and read your comments. And Swifty is always he's stimulating more discussion. So every time there's a Swifty comment, there's somebody else commenting, and then there's another comment. It's like a whole chain, and it's pretty cool. I go in there and read those, and some of them get really long, and it's just awesome to see all you guys who are interested in the game in the comments talking to each other. Like I don't even need to be involved, and it's really cool to see that. Oh, yeah. Another question I have for you guys is who do you watch that streams Resident Evil games? Do you have any recommended people that you watch that do that? Because I've done a show with Joe After Work and John Ford where we play the game together. So are there any other Resident Evil streamers that you know of out there? Seek, who was here earlier, he does it. He's got an Xbox, so we can't really connect through that, but let me know of any different Resident Evil streamers that you guys like, and we can see if we can do like a combo play together, because that's kind of fun. Blue Sheep, Blue Sheep, are you the Mac Burger person, by the way? Somebody has been commenting on my videos for 4 months, just asking me if I want hamburgers. Gaming Sloth says 420p guy. We were supposed to play last Saturday, but I got sick, so he's already on the list. And I don't know, we'll get Seek to call into the show at some point and talk. I wish I had all my setup right now. I could give you the links to the... he did some videos where he did some creative Resident Evil videos where he was like the secret agent or something. I can't even specifically remember, but that's what turned me on to the Seek channel. So check him out, Seek and Destroy. He's more of a Twitch, but he's also on YouTube. Siike. He's right down there in the chat. Click on his name. The links will be right there for you. And now everybody is asking me, the Rad Brad. Uh-oh. All right, I'll be back in 1 second. Yeah, why do I even have headphones on? I don't even have any sound. Yeah, so if I ever had wow, my hair's really messed up. If I ever got to like 1 million subscribers, I would hire somebody, and their whole job would be to make sure I plug in my computer so that it's not at 1% and I have to do a mad dash to keep it on. Your boy Malloy says cat attack. we don't do the cat attacks in the theory chat show. This is some serious stuff. Can't you tell how serious it is by this great background and this very professional outfit I've got going on here? Gamer guy, too many chats in a row. Calm down. Is it freezing now that I plugged in my computer? Oh, Seek says he does liquor attacks at 100. Shinju says Shin. I can't say it. I'll just say it. Call you Shin. Who's your favorite baker? That's a good question for the chat room. Who is your favorite baker? Yeah. And don't be like, my mom's my favorite baker. She bakes the best cupcakes. Your choices are Jack, Marguerite, and Lucas. And maybe Mia or Ethan. Oh, and if you... I'm doing live streams on Christmas Eve and Christmas probably, and there's going to be a whole outfit for that, and it's not Santa Claus, it's somebody better. Ah, yes, Swifty reminds me, there's the lady in the wheelchair. She could be a baker as well. And the name that starts with C is not the name of the character. All right, your boy Malloy wants to hang out with Lucas because he looks hot. Hot. It's like a Boston person saying hot. Brian likes Jack. Charlie likes Jack. Shin likes Lucas. Lil says Marguerite's scary AF. Yeah, Jack Baker's he's got a really interesting look. He's got that look of a character. He looks like a character. Marguerite and Lucas kind of look sort of normal, but Jack's got that look, that crazy look. He's kind of almost like a small iconic character already. Seek says grandma isn't real. That could definitely be the case since we've heard she disappears and reappears and doesn't do anything. But according to the people who have played the game, when she sits there and you walk by her, she follows you like like a painting would follow you. Like her eyes follow you around. And it's super creepy. And in VR, it's going to be pretty creepy. All right. PlayStation Magazine, we talked about chem fluids, talked about dying, we talked about one-liners. The other thing that came out of that magazine was which we 99% knew already, was that there's different types of handgun ammo, standard and strong or enhanced. And there's a button, so when you're aiming, you can cycle through the different ammo that you have. That's a new kind of, I think that's a new series of button presses or whatever. I don't know what's it called? Controller layout? I don't know. So when you're aiming with L whatever, you hit triangle and you cycle through bullets from strong to whatever. And I think if you have a grenade launcher, you can cycle from incendiary to acid to regular or whatever rounds they end up giving us in the game. Rebecca says, annoyed about the Datamine, new subscriber. Welcome to the Crimson Army. Crimson Army is awesome. And if you guys don't know, the Crimson Army are basically all you awesome commenters that really help me come up with theories and help keep me in check when I mess up on a theory or a fact, and keep me on pace with what's canon, what's not canon. I like to play these games. I never studied them deeply. I never memorized the storylines really even. So you guys are the experts. I'm more of a facilitator of your information. You give me the info, I'll do some extra research, and then I will regurgitate it back to you in a prettier way than that. And if you haven't done so already, go on to Twitter, follow at WheresBarry, and answer the 3 poll questions that are up there. People are still voting on there, and Gamer Guy is asking me 100 questions on there. Thulsa, here's some. Let's read some Twitter comments. Thulsa says, funny line from Resident Evil 1 is Wesker when he says premature before getting smashed by the tyrant. And we already covered a lot of the stuff that Gamer Guy is chatting with me about on Twitter. So there was another question on Twitter here. Question number 2 was, do you like the new everything crafting that may be in the game, which is what we talked about a little earlier, about how you can make ammo, you can make health, you can possibly repair weapons, you can possibly develop a photograph, and you have to decide what you're going to do. There's going to be so many choices in this game. It's going to be, quite frankly, it's going to be annoying the first time through the game. You're going to sit there and you're going to say, okay, I've got these items. Do I make some medicine or do I make some bullets? And you're already low on medicine and you're already low on bullets, and you basically have to pick, what am I going to do? And it's going to be tough. And then there might be 3 choices. Do I make health? Do I make this? Or do I open something? I don't know. Same thing with the coins in the game. You're going to have to decide, what upgrade do I want? Do I want to use my coins early and get this early upgrade, or do I want to save it up and pass on the early upgrade for a later game upgrade? Pierre says, maybe we're all on drugs and squatting an old bayou exploit. What? Were there like 8 autocorrects in that one? Philip, yeah, so that's another one I put on this list here at the bottom, Marguerite's bugs. So we've seen what Marguerite brings to the table. She brings all these wasps with her. And I did a video about that fungus that was also in The Last of Us, and people are like, you can't have the same thing in 2 different games. But, okay, well, what else explains the bugs going? I mean, that's a good thought, even if it's not the case. But so she's got these wasps with her. We know there's little spiders crawling around, and you have to like knife them or something to get them out of the way. We don't know if she's like mind controlling them too, but they seem to be around her, as well as centipedes. The PlayStation Magazine, or Biohazard France, I believe, was the one who said there are also little centipedes in as well. And I'm trying to read the chats as much as possible, and I see all you people coming in and saying hello, and I have to do a grand hello to everyone because there's not enough time to get everybody in there. Usually, if you're here in the first 5 minutes of the show, I will do a quick roll call in the beginning of the early birds, and they get the shout-outs. But some other people get shout-outs if they say some cool comments. What other bugs would you guys like to see in the game? The funniest thing is I've only done one video about a theory video about enemies, and it was about insects, and that's all we've seen so far besides these mold creatures are these insects, the spiders and the wasps. Blueberry asks, will I play Resident Evil 7 exactly at midnight? So here are the choices for that, and you guys answer the bugs that you want to see while I talk about this. Let's say I buy Resident Evil 7 from online from the interwebs and I buy it, it won't download till midnight, and then it'll take 10 minutes to download, and then it'll take minute time to install? Or do I go to Walmart, which is 3 minutes from my house, buy it at midnight, rush home, and put it in with the disc so it doesn't have to download? And which way would be faster? That's kind of what I'm looking at here when I'm trying to decide how I'm going to purchase the game. And I think Walmart is going to win, and then I get a box as well. Trent says he doesn't want anything. He just wants zombies. Pierre has a Magnum, so he doesn't care about the bugs. Oh my gosh, here's something that would be horrible. A water level. That would be horrible if you have to swim. Oh, actually swimming in first person isn't that bad. But man, do I hate water levels. I was watching Joe after work play Revelations the other day, and there was a water level in Revelations 1. And yes, Walmart, they're not a sponsor of the show, but they are the official store of the Baker family. That's where they buy all their rope. That's where they buy all their nails. That's where they buy their chainsaws. Sorry, I'll go to Target, which is also 2 minutes away. See, Target closes. Walmart's open 24 hours, so you can buy a video game at midnight, or you can buy Reign of Fire on DVD the day it comes out at midnight. Charlie says crocodiles. Host says not Last of Us Fireflies. Brian says swimming level with BOWs would be terrifying. So if there's water in the VR games, do you have to hold your breath in real life? And you have to have your friends like throw water on you. All right, so we've covered 1 through 8. Oh, no, Resident Evil voice. I can't play it for you because the audio messed up. So at the end of the commercial in Japan, not the U.S. commercial, but the Japanese commercial, they had the same guy who did Resident Evil 6, his voice at the end of the commercial saying, Resident Evil 7. And do you guys like that voice? It seemed like when I did that video, everybody in the comments, 99% of the people like that voice and want that voice in there. Kawada said that they're not going to... This is what he said months ago. He said, we're not going to put the voice in there. We're trying something new with this game, but we might change our minds. And it sounds like they changed their mind. And it's such a small thing to not include when it's in every Resident Evil game. And if you... YouTube search it, Resident Evil intro. There's somebody did a compilation, and it's like every game, even the side games and the Game Boy games and all sorts. They all say Resident Evil. So, Seek says the guy who said Ethan Winters 3 years ago is a Resident Evil 0 intro guy. People were telling me he had to do with Code Veronica as well. Yeah, Blueberry says that voice is classic. Glenn says Biohazard. Yeah, I forgot. I did the English language version. I also like this question from Shin is, what do you guys think the final boss will be or should be? Do you think it's going to be a Power Ranger like a Voltron of Bakers, where when our powers combine, and then all the Bakers like form together to make a giant monster? Do you think it'll just be Jack Baker? Or do you think it'll be some other character or some other thang-a-rang? What's up, Bang Bang? What's up, Rose? They get some shout-outs. Gaming Sloth gets the shout-out. Goldheart's the moderator. Shin says mutated Jack. Pierre wants to fight the little girl. Peace wants the molded. All the undefeated, all the molded joining together. Gregory says grandma's the boss. Philip says old lady or Mia. Gamer Guy says all the bakers, you have to hide from them. Michael says Baker's daughter. Episode 1, new character or mutated Jack. Host Jack. I think it's got to be Jack. Jack is such like the classic, I don't know, he's just a classic character already. With his stupid accent, his stupid cursing. People seem to love his cursing. Host says the house itself. That was one of my original thoughts, was that the entire plantation was alive and the little girl was controlling it with her mind and she was making trees grow and stuff like that. But it sounds like that's not going to turn out to be the case. And John Ford actually did a video and he talked about it when we played Resident Evil 5 on the podcast gameplay video thing that I do. That he did a video where he talked about all the theories that he never did a video on because he thought they were dumb or something. That would definitely be one of mine, that the whole house is alive and a plant. Yeah, Seek says Marguerite's cursing is much worse, definitely. We were talking about that earlier, how I compiled all her cursing together, and she's just a disgusting, filthy human being. And here's a creepy thing. In the comments on the videos that people make, they're showing a lot of love to Marguerite. They're like, one of the things that was classic moment on this channel, classic Barry stream moment, was we did a whole stream of Resident Evil 1, but the only thing we talked about was body pillows for like 30 minutes or maybe even longer. It was like body pillow, body pillow, body pillow. All the comments were about body pillows. Sounds like a lot of you guys, a lot of the Zoms, might want a Marguerite Baker body pillow to marry. So look out for that in Japan. People marrying their Marguerites. Rachel says she's the final boss. And now we have awesome 64 Zoms in here checking out the show. This is called Theory Chat, and every Wednesday night I'm going to do this. People really enjoy this. It's a great way to connect with you guys, to get all your comments and try to read them all. There's so many. And talk about the week before of the videos that I've done and other people have done. So if you ever have a video that it's not just my videos, that's kind of selfish. But if you have other videos that you want me to talk about the next week, send them to me. We're kind of working on this together, trying to figure out what's the best format here. But I definitely want to talk about other videos, not just my own videos. As long as the videos are about something real and they're not making up information or saying things are confirmed when they're not or stuff like that. And what's up to all the late joiners? Just to give you guys a recap about the spoilers that came out today. We're not really talking about them specifically. We're just kind of talking about the fact that a lot of us don't like that they're there. A lot of us don't care that they're there. We're still going to enjoy the game. So I had to be talked down from a ledge in the morning, and now I feel like, all right, I feel okay about it. It's fine. It's all fine. Oh, yes, Blueberry Muffin makes a good point. There better be a self-destruct sequence in Resident Evil 7. Yes, there's always an alarm, and there's always an alarm with no timer. There's usually one with a timer too, but there's always an alarm with no timer in Resident Evil where you have to exit something, and the alarm makes you panic in real life, especially when you're a kid, and you're like, oh, I gotta get her. But when you're older, you're like, oh, okay, there's no timer. And if you turn the sound off, it makes games easier. If you've ever had a game where it's hard to beat and the music is just pounding on you, and you're like, the music's going loud and loud, just turn the volume down, which is cheating, but it'll help you so much. Playing Resident Evil 7 demo without the sound on was like, it was like butterflies floating in the air because it was so scary. What's up, Rick the Gasian? Rick is pissed about the Resident Evil 7 leaks that were left in the demo. I think it was from the demo. I actually didn't even look more into that. What's up, A Lot of Bit? What's up, Rick is the one who helped us solve the demo. That's something we haven't talked about. Is the demo puzzle where you had to get all the giggles, and we all spent hours watching the Sewer Gators VHS tape, which we never want to watch again, but we've heard might be in the actual game, and we'll have to watch it again. So Rick helped us figure out the key to beating that without watching the tape. So if you haven't done it yet, you can get the coin in under 10 minutes pretty easily. And then you can use that coin in the real game. Yes. And then VR. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna play the game in VR because it's kind of makes me a little nauseous. So I'm definitely gonna play through regular. I got to get back into the VR world because. So I spent. I mean, a lot of you have done the same thing, but I spent hours and hours and hours playing this demo. It's a free demo, and I spent so many hours. I buy games for $60, and I don't play them as much as I played this free demo. That's how awesome this whole thing was, that they let us play this demo for free, and there was so much mystery behind it. And I played it so much that when I put the VR helmet on the first time and was in the house and looking around, and I was in the house, it was so incredible. And if you guys have the chance to do that, it's awesome. But after a few minutes, you get used to it, and the awesomeness fades away, and it kind of, I don't know, the VR is not good on my stomach. So I'm definitely going to try it again, but I'm going to play through the game without the VR. And this whole episode so when I do these episodes of this theory chat, I have a whole outline, and I've got it all together, and we had a great one last week. That was the first one I did the outline. Everything was going good, and then of course the sound died and everything fell apart. And then today I have this whole outline, and then it just gets flipped upside down by this morning, getting emails in the morning. Hey, Wesker's in the Resident Evil 7 now, and I'm like, what? Which turned out is not the case. Sorry, but that was one of the ones that was it? It was either Eurogamer or Game. I think it was Eurogamer covered that story. Yeah, and Brian's saying my family, they call me and they said, "Do you want a PS4 Pro?" And I basically said, "No, I've got a regular PS4." I don't know. Is there that big of a difference? And now I'm ignoring somebody because they're asking for a shout out. So if you want to be ignored, ask for a shout out, especially after I've already said your name on the air. All right. Everybody's saying that I should. So here's the two things that I need to get for this channel. And it's a PlayStation Pro, and I need a desktop computer because, as you've seen in these theory chats, this Mac setup is not working very well. So that's $2,000 there that I need to come across. And I've already got the TV. I've got the 4K 55-inch TV right there. It's got Resident Evil demo ready to go. Right on there. Look, it's right there and ready to go. But I'm not going to play it. Seek says he's pumped for the game, and it's nice to see a Resident Evil to be excited for Resident Evil game again. Definitely. Nice. And Rick says PS Pro is needed, basically. I summarized your comment. And Blueberry Muffin just gave me 2,000 smiley face dollars. So I will cash those in at the bank. Gaming Gaming Sloth suggests I switch it back over to the demo and we all watch the Sewer Gators together. All right, everybody, that is an hour. That is the time that we have allotted to this show every Wednesday night, 8 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. Going to do this. Going to have it a little more organized next week with the rundown and then leave the last part up for these questions. We did like half and half questions and the rundown. But next week we'll do more of that. Again, the best way to contact me is on Twitter at WheresBarryB. Also on Facebook, WheresBarryB. Also on Instagram, WheresBarryB. And on Twitch at WheresBarry, I'm going to play The Last of Us on Wednesday nights after the show, about 30 minutes after the show or sooner. So, again, thank you all. You guys have made this so fun. I don't care that all this stuff was leaked today. It's been so fun to do these theories. And even the new information, it doesn't answer everything. So there's even more theories to do. And it's all thanks to your help in the comments. The comments are amazing. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of comments, and I love reading them. I love to see what you guys have to say. And it's just been really cool, helping me get up to, 3,700 subscribers now. That is cool as anything. I never thought it would get that big, but I've got to keep making videos and keep trying to figure stuff out about this game. And after the game comes out, we'll all have a party together, an online dance party, Resident Evil 7 style. Do the Baker dance. So, thanks again, everybody. And I will see you guys next Wednesday or during the week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when I do live streams of games. And coming up next is Resident Evil Director's Cut. So, I'll talk to you later. Catch you later, evil dudes. And bye, Amanda.